we just got done installing one of our systems, and I was thinking, well, you can't exactly be at the right place at the right time all the time, but you also can't be at the right place at the right time anytime either. So you're always where you need to be, but you can only move in your design. So if you only have, your outfit for work or your outfit for, leisure, you're really not going to mix those things up. And you're really stuck in those different designs. You can't go and trespass and just go and install one of our systems, because then you'd be trespassing. So we find ourselves in all sorts of really cool places, and I could stay there. I could go and rent a room or whatever, but that'd be a waste of my time. So we were talking yesterday about workflows. I was approached by a marketer. He was like, "You want help marketing?" And I said, "No, I don't need any help marketing." And he says, "Well, it's all about the workflow." And I said, "I know it's all about the workflow." And he's like, "Well, why are you at these bus stops then? You're causing all these scenes." And I'm like, "I know, because I'm pissed off." I'm like, I go here at 7 in the morning. I'm like going to get some coffee, and they're closed. And that's not America. America doesn't close coffee at 7. So talking about workflows is, if you have something interrupting your workflow, that's not your workflow. There should be no interruptions. So if you find yourself not in your workflow and not in your design, make sure you get on our software. I was talking to my mentor today, and I was saying, how easy it is to swap a hard drive? Just like that. It's like, if you're on the wrong hard drive, if you're on the wrong island, if you're in the wrong city, it's not that you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe you're at the right place at the right time, but maybe you just got the wrong hard drive. So make sure you get the right installation down. Make sure you're wearing the right clothes. Make sure you have everything set up. If you need a job, jump on our platform. We have all sorts of jobs available. We have, any kind of job you could possibly think of. We have it ready for you. Right now I'm trying to finish my master's degree in engineering, and I gotta get a job to save up money to do that. Ridiculous. So if you want a job so that we can pay you to go to school, make sure that you come with the workflow already in mind, and what that means for you. For me, it's pretty simple. It says, I want coffee right now, and this is the way I want my coffee. And then it says, I want food right now. And then it says, what do I gotta be? What do I gotta do? I'm ready. I don't like my time being wasted. So the marketer approached me. He says, I don't got time for that. And I said, well, I guess I do. I got time. So, they're always trying to tell me that I gotta go to prison, or I gotta go, give up my time. And I tell them, I say, you're stupid. You're so stupid. Because I'm here at the bus stops, and that's all you see is me at the bus stops. So you think, how do I feel about that? I feel pretty pissed. Because then McDonald's wants to close their fucking dining room on me. I can't go and get my coffee. Part of my workflow. So all of a sudden you're going to cut me out because I don't have a license, because I don't want a license? You know how that makes me feel? It makes me feel so happy that I yell about it. I walk into Target and I say, this is not good. This is not good at all. This is not my America. So then I go to my job and I'm happy again, because I'm back where I'm in my workflow, back where I need to be doing, installing our systems. And, now I'm back in this fake life, waiting for the bus. Not because I don't like the bus. The bus is great. But I'm here in this fucking dumb place, and all they see is another bus stop, another bus rider. And obviously, apparently, if you ride the bus, you're not allowed to go to McDonald's or whatever. I don't know. This is my experience of the past 3 years, and I gotta tell you, if you don't have a degree, you're screwed. You're screwed if you don't have a degree. If you don't have the right clothes, you're screwed. If you don't know the right people, you're screwed. So basically, here's what you got, because they're gonna make you go to all these different places where you don't belong. Nobody belongs in prison. Nobody belongs in these different places. But that's what they're going to try to tell you. They're going to try to tell you there's something wrong with you because you're going to catch the bus. So it's better to just go to school, go to your work, and get paid to ride the bus. Don't go to the bus unless you're getting paid to do it. And don't be mad unless you're getting paid to be mad. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you're not getting paid to be mad, then you probably shouldn't be mad, because it's dangerous. You know, nobody ever tells you that being mad is dangerous, but it's true. Super true. People start to think that there's something wrong with you if you're mad. And I say, no, I'm not mad. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. I want coffee. I want food. And I want to go to school. So, anyway, we finished our installation for today. And I just wanted to touch base and say, you know, thank you for using my software. Also, I want to add on my thing here. Oh, wait. I want to add on and say, you know, a lot of people don't have the right priorities. You know, growing up, school wasn't their priority. And if school was your priority, then your priorities should pretty much be the same still. And your priorities should always be correct still. So I think that's a big part of the communities and about the businesses and about the employees, is that if you're interacting with employees, those employees most likely do not have school as a priority. Because where exactly are you going? Where are these employees working? And how old are they? So, you know, when somebody has to balance work with school, no matter how old they are, you gotta think about their priorities and why it's even set up that way. Priorities should really be school, then you get a job, which is a career, and then you never see them ever, because those aren't employees. I mean, they are, but you never see those kind of employees. So, people don't really understand what it is to have a valedictorian sitting at the bus stop. They think that that's, you know, they don't, that's not the ordinary, that's not actually something that happens very often. So, you know, it's not about following the rules, but it's that, you know, if you want to go break the rules, make sure that you're protected with insurance and with our software. That way you don't get expelled like I did. Worse. So you don't get homeless, or you're not sitting at bus stops all day. supposed to be out here in November out of this place. So I decided, okay, do these installation training lectures, and it's super, super fun. I can't really say too much about it, but it's very physical. So I didn't really mix I can't really say too much, but we're reading a lot of textbooks. But anyway, also learning without food, without water, is definitely very interesting. Not fun. Not my first time, but anyway, so today, got up, I think it was at 1 o'clock, walked over, I see somebody that I knew, she was sitting next to Olin. This is one of the places I like to come back to. I'm like, what are you doing outside? She's like, can I come home with you? And I'm like, no, you can't. First of all, I don't even have that right now. Second of all, that would be against our rules for this program. And I'm in it for the 10 years, the 20 years, the 30 years. So, my recruiter said, make sure everything's straight. So I was like, okay. But I walked her. She gave me like $10 for the next place. And well, actually, I said I'll walk you if you give me $10. She was like, give me $10 and buy some food. Came back. There wasn't any bathrooms. No bathrooms. The McDonald's here don't allow. They closed their main room, so can't even go in there anymore. And on this side of this particular community, they do open the doors. They hadn't opened the bathrooms in a long time, a couple years actually, and they closed. They're not 24 hours. So, on the mainland, they close at about 9 o'clock, so it's kind of simple. But there's usually other places in this stuff. But anyway, I went over to the gym, and I might get a membership there pretty soon, just because they let me use the bathroom. So at first she was like, what are you doing? So anyway, it's, each day is pretty terrible being in this community. I decided to get out of it. But the work is fun. My recruiter is super, super excited to get me into the next phase. And for now, the installments are pretty fantastic. Very fun. Full body labor. Able to use my brain. And in addition to that, they had me do another module for some more tech stuff, make sure my tech was up there, hard. So far so good. I actually wrote a program in a couple days, just cause, and emailed them a little manual to go with it for the next person. So that's always fun, people ask you to come and do something, and you can kind of leave behind an improvement in the next employee, and the next recruit, something they can kind of go off of. What I hope in this next tour, hopefully get everything situated with this community in a couple months. That's pretty much what they've been able to do. Come over, shake it all up and get them to, enroll in the military, and so that we can have money. Or something subsidiary. We run a lot of businesses. So, and my recruiter was like, we can't really influence other things. And I said, watch me. And so that's really, gets me irritated. Consolidated already. I'm not getting anymore. There's a cutoff date for all this stuff. So I gotta get through this. So luckily we're stacking, trying to get everything done as fast as possible. But after this last little stunt that the community pulled on me, calling my names and harassing me, definitely they should be there. To my recruiter, I said I can't be in this situation. My recruiter said that you have to go there. Okay, she really Cyprus or something, or in Lithuania with nature, but you know, I just have to be here. So sometimes, you know, you just have to go through our training, make sure that everything's prepared, because they really don't have too much time to train us on everything, but the more that we have under our belt, you know, the more self-sufficient we are. And whether we're here or abroad, we're kind of always running the same ops, and trying to get the next pot filled. That's a big part of our mission, or at least my personal goal, is that when I leave each job with a little more money in the bucket for the next employee, so that the salary goes up when I leave the job. And that's kind of how I run my businesses, or at least how I run my communities, or at least how I run my life. You know, I definitely smash it all and then make it so that it improves. Because you can't live in something that's half or second rate. You can't be a half-wit, you can't be a second-rate life. So it's better to break all and shatter everything and have them rebuild it. And it's free, you know, it's free. I'm trying to get my engineering degree, and apparently they can't afford that. So we'll just break the buildings, and we need to hire an architect, we need to hire an engineer. It's simple, you know, it's military operations are tried and true. But anyway, they asked me to do this log because of the lights, because of the harassment. So this is, I think this is video log. Usually I'm doing the other logs, so I guess this is like video log 2, right there. And I'll post this pretty soon. So I did a whole video log they asked me to do, but the mic wasn't working for me, so just to kind of sum up what I was talking about, which is probably good, because I probably said too much about stuff I wasn't supposed to talk about. I'm always like, I signed an NDA, but and it was pretty clear, but I always, anyway, you know, it's hard to say. They pretty much say, don't say anything that's going to compromise the operations. And I'm thinking, well, anyway, my whole thing is, if people don't know about the operations, then how will they know how to like react? And they say that's the point. You know, it's part of the point, is that you're supposed to let them react the way that they react, and that way, you know, we can know what to do with them. Because business is tight, employees are tight, and we want to make sure that everywhere is, you know, tight. So, you know, anyway, I guess the main point is that they got me redoing these installations. They asked me to do that, and it's pretty fun. But besides that, you know, nothing's really that great out here. I'm not too sure why they asked me to come out here, but, you know, no big deal. But I'm excited for the next tour. And my bus is here. I'm on the bus. It kind of gave me the grunt work, told me to document everything. You never really know how people get enrolled. But, you know, this tour is 2022 tour. It's pretty great. It's kind of the end of our 2020 tour. It's kind of like a 2 to 4 year installment for what we do. And they just wanted me to kind of wrap things up. I'm pretty excited for the next tour, because even though this place sucks, the next place should suck a little bit differently. So, you know, we love our job, but everywhere it's a shithole. As long as we're here, it's going to be a shithole. And that's kind of why they ask us to come in these places. Anyway, we love what we do. Going over to my next job and doing an installment out there. But I definitely hate coming back. Definitely hate when I gotta clock out. But that's part of the enrollment, so you never really gotta clock out. Anyway, this is gonna be video log number 3. So
If you're watching these out of order, no big deal. But if you watch video log number 2, then that's kind of you signing the NDA for what we talk about. So just watch that real quick, just so you kind of sign something. I just forgot to tell you. Might as well keep working. I hate it when I'm not working, because I'm not working. I'm usually pissed. Watch video number 1. Video number 1 is going to tell you what the 2020 program is about. Basically, I received a grant proposal. First it was by the military, and then it was by the CDC. Basically, it was asking me, how do I prevent, well, watch video number 1, but just to tell you real quick, how do you prevent sexual assault in the military? My first thought was, well, first of all, why is that even happening in the military? My second thought was, well, if you can prevent it in the military, you can prevent it everywhere. And it'd be the same operations or the same procedures that I was saying that the military already implements, that we should implement in our day-to-day. And then just when I was about to submit my proposal, the COVID lockdown hit, and I was like, that's perfect. It's kind of along the lines of what I was talking about. So that's the 2020 beginning of, I guess 2019, but really it's 2021, so what our program's all about. So basically, we're now 2 years later, almost done with our program. And what's great about it is it's kind of segueing into a new title. We never really gave our program a title. I was kind of jumping around with some names as far as what I was going to call my grant proposal, or my answer key, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, I was going to name it, give the program a name. And I was thinking like Halo at first, because I was like, we are angels, and we are super awesome. So, and we do super awesome stuff, and we get paid to do it, and we look good doing it too. So I was like, well, Halo. But then, what happened with that was I got this bag, and the bag really resonates. So I was like, well, let's scratch Halo for a minute, and let's call the program Titan program. Because I was thinking, well, we were really talking about the whole community and all these people. And Halo doesn't really care about the people, but Titan does. People. And then there's the gods, and then there's the Titans. So, like Atlas, for example, is a Titan. And we always have to uphold not just our planet, but we always got to carry our house as well. Just like we carry our names. So, I'm not going to tell you my name, but part of being what Titan is that people already know your name. And that's pretty much what our program is all about. People call you by your last name. Or not, I guess, but usually they do. And that's really what Titan's about. So you walk around not just wearing your uniform proudly, but your uniform's in your heart. Doesn't matter what country you come from. So, we're going around the world doing our tours. And anybody can join our program. You can get paid. You can learn along the way. And we promise we won't really hurt you, because it's part of our agreement as of 2020 that I proposed. I said, well, just don't do that. What my first thing was is figure out who's going to do that and take care of it. That was kind of what I was saying. And I also said segregation. Segregation of fish is a good idea. I told somebody this. I said, don't put a fish in a pool. And I was referring to myself. I said, don't put a fish in a pool where you know it's going to happen. I graduated at the top of my class. So I said, I'm not supposed to be in that pool. I'm supposed to be in that pool. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen. kind of what happened. Is, what you would think would happen. So, a very bad idea. If you're looking at businesses, you really got to take that approach. You really can't put the person in the wrong business, otherwise you might have the wrong business happening, and that's not exactly healthy for America or the world. So that's why we kind of want to do these tours because we have to, but also because we want to. So it's a big, we go to places and we say, this is business. This is the way it's going to go. And we swallow up other businesses and we make businesses bigger and better. And we sometimes call that democracy, but it ain't no vote. It's what it is. So, that's kind of what each year is about. As we see each year roll out, we're going to see a new version, a new rollout of our program. And, the best thing to do is either be in the program or to just buy our shit, I guess. I really don't know how else to put it. Either you're a consumer or you're a producer. And if you're producing, best you produce within us. Otherwise, we're gonna have to, acquire our assets. And the way I look at it, in the old days in America, we used to knock on people's door and be like, all right, we're sleeping here. And what are they going to do? They're going to say no? No. It's the military. You can't say no to the military. So I was talking to my recruiter, and the recruiter says, nothing I can do about that. Not about the house thing, but I say, why is part of my tour not being in a dwelling? And he says, well, take it up with, take it up next year. And I said, okay, no big deal. But I said, what about this whole court thing? And he says, what are you going to do about that? And I said, is that right? And I turned around and I said, what country am I in? And he said, it doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway, I turned back around and looked at my recruiter and I said, I don't got time for this. I'm not going to waste your time and you're not going to waste my time. Because if there's time being wasted, then we must not be in America. So I left the office for a moment and I started this new module to make sure that, it's part of my, making sure that I even know how to run wires and how I even, if I have common sense, basically. That's it. I have common sense, but, how much of, and where is my common sense exactly? And I was pretty interested also. I said, well, I know I can do anything. I'm on top of my class. But, realistically, do I have the experience? And so that's what, waking up, actually not really even sleeping, but going over, catching these buses, 12 o'clock every day, for some common sense, which isn't me getting common sense, but it's just kind of nice to use my common sense. And to use my brain. Otherwise I'd be working in someone's restaurant washing their dishes, and that's not common sense. So, or something just as, ridiculous. That's not what a top of their class does. And so, they got me doing all this grunt work, but not really. I don't really consider this grunt work. I consider grunt work to be, also fun. I wrote a program for my other modules where I have to fix everything. And I wrote a program real quick to make sure that everything was documented automatically. So I was like, oh, that's great. I can show them that I'm already ahead of it. And we can skip those common sense and I can just be doing what I love. And then they'll know where my common sense is. And that's going pretty well. I forget where I was going with that, but basically mapping not just the roles and the employees, but also mapping each week and how, I really don't got time for these weeks. And so, the tour is all about how do we get to next year as fast as possible, so that we can, keep doing what we love all the time. And so I really don't have time. So the grunt work, writing a program, I'm sitting there writing the program. I'm like, I don't got time for this. So I got it done faster. Same thing with, what I'm doing for these bus rides. I said, I don't got time for this. So I do it faster. And get the work done faster. And then if I'm tired, I said, I don't got time to be tired. So I'm not tired. And things like that. And it's just or like, I don't got time. I just don't got time for anything. So that's a big part of the tour, is figuring out what people have time for, and then putting them in those places. And say, well, there you go. That's what you got time for. And there you go. That's what you got time for. And the rest of us, we don't got time for that. So we have everybody else doing that for us. And then automatically we are ahead of the business. We're ahead of all the businesses because we don't got time for that. If everybody else is running our businesses, we can keep doing what we love, which is basically what everybody else doesn't want to do, because they're either too afraid or inexperienced, or they don't got time for that, or maybe they're just all the reasons that you could probably think of why you wouldn't want to join our program. Usually it has to do with capability. So that's a big part of what we do. We're capable of pretty much anything, but we don't have time for all that. So we swallow up everything and we say, it's all mine now. I don't got time for this. And it's a big part of what our tours are about. Every year we gotta let people know that we don't got time for them. And every year, literally every year, we gotta do this. So, because people end up getting new jobs, people replace jobs, people come and go basically, but we don't. We are basically still here, always have been. And that's a big part of what, is why there's no chill, because we don't got time for that. And so if we are chilling, it's because, we're in America. So if we're not in America while we're in America, there's no chill there. That's why we have our 2020 lockdown. There's no chill. No chill at all. Trying to finish my engineering program while I'm doing these tours, and luckily they're able to stack everything. But they want me reading all these textbooks because I told them I want to read textbooks. And they said, okay. And I said, okay, well, can you pay me? And they said, yeah. So they paid me to do that also. And I said, well, what about the classes? Because I want to sit there, I want the setting. And they say, well, you're a hostel now. They say, you're a lethal weapon now. We can't have you sitting in the classroom. And I said, are you kidding me? You trained me, and now I'm all of a sudden incompatible with citizens? And I said, yes, you aren't a citizen anymore. You aren't a civilian anymore. You are now a threat. And I said, are you shitting me? And I said, no. And I said, well, what are we going to do about that? And I said, well, you got to just be ahead of it. Think next year. And I said, well, if I have to think next year today, and if I have to get my next year's degree today, I better start recording, letting everyone know how stupid they are. Because why would anybody want to exist with a hostile or with a threat? And that's what I'm saying. I do these tours, I go all over the world, letting people know that. I said, they're letting me do all this, and everyone can't do anything about it. And that seems ridiculous to me. Like, we go to other countries, and we're the threat, we're the hostile. We're saying, okay, we're invading you guys, and there's nothing they can do about it. What are they going to do? Say no? So it's pretty much the same thing. So I'm going around saying educate me, and they won't educate me. They're giving me jobs, they're giving me money, but they won't give me my education. So, I gotta educate them for them. And basically what that entails is writing up these programs and posting these logs. And basically, moving as fast as possible in the slowest intervals of time. So, if we ever stop working, then that doesn't make any sense. So a big part of my mission is to make sure that I'm always working. And that's a big part of what is difficult, is they want me to clock out of all of my modules. They want me to clock out. And I said, no way. And they said, well, you have to. And I said, well, if I have to clock out, that's telling me I'm not in my job yet. Because you should never have to clock out in the program. You just keep going, keep working until you fall down. So I don't get it. I look at all these people and I just see losers. I see losers everywhere. And sometimes in the mornings I'm surrounded by good people. But that's about it, sometimes. But you always know, and that's a big part of why we have our jobs, is because we always know one thing from another, and one people from another people, or one person from another person. And that's a big reason why we get to do what we do, is because it's kind of what we're paid to do. So it's not that I really got to clock out, it's just that I have to clock out. So if you're getting fired and you're like, well, I gotta clock out, and it's like, well, yeah, you're gonna clock out. So, I'm gonna clock out. So anyway, there's been a long period of non-communication happening between offices, and they refer to me as the other side. I think it's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. In fact, somebody got out of their car today, or last night, but literally, I'm asleep, so it's still today. And I got out of the car, and I said, this isn't a joke. And I told them, I said, this life is no life. It is not a joke. I'm more dead serious than that dude was. So, looking at these offices, there's really only two offices. And they refer to me as the other side. And it's not that we're hostile towards each other, but it's that I'm hostile and they're not. So it's big. They call it an issue. I call it common sense. So, the way they look at it is, this is the way we run life. And I say, that's not life. There's no life there. And I say, well, we seem to be having a great time doing it. And I say, well, I don't really care. It's just that, you're ruining everything. And I say, well, you're ruining everything. So it ends up being this back and forth, of what we have allegiance to, basically. At the end of the day, we all have our hands on the flag. And that's really why we even face each other. Because we're on opposite ends of the flag. And I got my hand on it, they got their hand on it. Mine has a Bible under it. Theirs doesn't. Mine also has a law book under it. Theirs doesn't. They just want to go and do whatever they want. So what my recruiter was telling me, he says, there's nothing I can do about the court. Just jumping off of my previous entry. And I'm looking at the book and I'm saying, you wrote this book. You're not using the book that you wrote. They're using the book that you wrote. And if there's something wrong with the book, then you write a new book. And then next year they have to read that book. And that's kind of how the law system works. Is that every year there's a new graduating class. Every year, there's a new set of tests. Every year is a new year. And, the way I look at it is it doesn't really matter if you read the books or not. It's all about how you run your polis, what the Greeks call it. So if you run your polis correctly, it doesn't really matter what you read or what you didn't read, because it's just common sense at that point. And we're paid to know the difference between what and what. And, it's not really dip into history or into what we like to do. But, I always say pro quo. I say, I don't really care. It's just that I care. And they say, they care, then they care about about other things too. So I'm like, look, this is getting messy. First of all, where is my life? I got no life. Give me my life. And they want me to do all these installments just to make sure that, I'm even capable of holding a life. And I said, I can hold a life anytime. It's not about that. It's that, I don't got time for this. And they said, well, you got to make time. So anyway, I went back to my recruiter and I said, alright, it's not that it has to happen right now. You just have to do it as fast as possible. Does that make sense? Because he was like, you don't like the way we run things. And I said, no, I don't. You ruined my life. And he says, well, you were selected for this program. This is what you're going to do. I said to him, look, I don't got time for this bullshit. I don't. Now I have to put this in a new category because I swore to I don't got time for this. I really don't. I got one job. And that's it. So, I can do a lot with that one job. But so far, nothing has been even remotely close to my one job. I can do everything. And I'm doing pieces of it. But that's like common sense. Anybody could do that. My one job, not many people can do my one job. Because look at me. I am a specific job. And these losers can't figure that out. So, that's why they called me a lethal weapon. Because they figured it out. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, you're still wasting my time. And they said it's to educate the civilians that we also abhor. And I say, look, I know we all abhor the civilians, but can we not educate them, and can we just skip to the university? And they say no, and I know why. Basically, they want their kids to understand their job. And the recruiter, is going, and he's telling me this. He's like, he's going over getting them donuts and Cinnabons, and I said, yeah, that's what the military is Cinnabons and coffee. That's pretty much all the military is. And he's like, and he's trying to get them all excited about it. That's his job. And I'm like, look, you can't make losers go into the military. You just can't. You can. But unless they already understand what the military is, then why do you waste your time with civilians? You should just squish them. Just squish them. And he says, we can't, because they're civilians. And I said, look, my program is that everybody's military or you're being squished. I don't know how else to put it. It just irritates me. It really irritates me. Because you want to know what irritates me? They say, thank you. And I say, what? Thank you for what? Don't even look at me. Don't talk to me. Just walk the other direction. And these are our wives. These are our girlfriends. These are basically all women. Or all of their friends. And I say, go away. So that's why we never really leave. We don't really retire. Because retire to what? So they have us go into these special pockets. Right now my mentor is one of those pockets. So it's really cool because I'm doing this installment, but not this, but doing this installment over where I'm headed right now. My mentor He's one of those guys. He doesn't really leave, but he's doing one of those modules because he's capable of anything. So, it's nice to work with somebody that is more titan than I would ever be. You know what I mean? Because you know what a titan is. So my recruiter says to me, how do we create more gods? And I said to my recruiter, you want to know how to make a god? Get out of my office. These are secrets no one's allowed to have. You want to know why? Because they're wasting my time. That's why. You waste my time, you don't get no gods. You don't get no civilians. You don't get nothing. Nothing. Wasting my time. And that's why, I don't associate with dogs, cats, losers, or wolves, even lions. I hate lions and sheep. They're all dumb. I'm just, pissed. People said to me, how do we make someone else pissed? Get out of my office. So anyway, we're in this non-communication phase where I was supposed to leave on my birthday. That's what my recruiter said. My recruiter says, we're gonna go on your birthday. I said, okay. And this is what happened instead. Let me tell you what happened. They took me. And now I have to wait around for a whole other month. So I went and did another module. That's where I'm headed right now to do that installation. But I really shouldn't be doing these installations. I should be already gone. And, a big reason for that is that civilians are stupid. So, I'm excited for next year. Because next year and the year after that, basically, there won't be any more civilians. Because a big part of my program is that everyone's in my program, or I'm not in the program at all. So if I'm not in the program at all, then there is no next year, or the year after that, or the year after that. And that is a threat. If I'm not in the program, there is no next year for me at all, or a year after that. So anyway, they keep asking me dumb questions. I want to say to anybody listening who knows about dumb questions are those kind of questions that you never ask because they're dumb. So when common sense has to talk to dumb questions and say, are you for cereal? And then the little fruity pies say, it's just that we're civilians. And I say to them, I abhor you because you don't understand what we live for and what we die for. And you want to mess it up by being in the other office. So that's really what it is. You have this other office full of civilians, and they hold on to each other, and I'm over here on this side, on the other side, in my office. And I said, how is it that my office has no coffee, no sleep, no textbooks, no chalkboard, no nothing? I don't know nothing. I don't got time either. So the other office says to me, well, it doesn't. So, like I said, non-communication. My recruiter still hasn't texted me back. I haven't texted him either, but that's what I don't understand. Is usually the military is a nuisance. Usually they keep texting you and they're like, where are you at? Where are you at? You're supposed to be here. Where are you at? And I haven't heard from him. So the way I take it is that he wants me to start off with his job, just real quick. Like, I'm not going to stay in that job for more than an hour but just, just to use his job for what it's for, and then go to the next job. And that's a big part of how we make money, is you're not supposed to stay in one job. You're supposed to use the job to get to the next job. And then the next person goes and fills that job. So, a lot of people say to me, you can't just walk away. And I turned to that person and I said, I can't just walk away. And he said, no. And I said, watch me. And I walk away. And if I don't walk away, how am I supposed to get to the next job? So anyway, I wouldn't be heading over to this next job making more money than I was ever before if I didn't walk away. So next time you want to walk away, just do it. Nobody cares. Here's the real truth. You want to know the truth? If the whole world depended on you to be there and not walk away, what kind of job would that even be? And that's what the Titan program is all about, is we never leave our program. Because if we aren't doing it, no one else is doing it. And someone's got to push, someone's got to pull, someone's got to lift, someone's got to do everything. So that's what my office is about. So basically, I'm looking at the other side, and I'm just seeing this guy with flip-flops. He wore flip-flops. And he says to me, you don't like the way we run things. And I said to my recruiter, I said, no, I don't like the way you run things. First of all, I don't got time for this bullshit. And he says to me, we're supposed to drop everything. And I said, don't be ridiculous. I'm not talking ridiculous here. I'm just saying that, don't waste my time. I won't waste your time. And that's good for any relationship, not just business, but in a partnership, you're not going to waste nobody's time. You say, we got married for a reason. Or you say, we're parents for a reason. Or you say, you're not just going to waste time. Because you know how much information that we have to transfer before we die? A lot of information. We have to somehow pack all that information into these tiny moments. And we don't got time to share a moment. We got places to be, we got homework to do, we got study time, we gotta be like me, head of the class. And fraternizing with the opposite gender. But other than that, we don't really got time. So, I like to do these video logs because I don't got time to sit with each and every one of those recruits. But here's what I can say is, first, don't be a loser. If you're going to be a loser, don't show up. Just don't. Second, if you have a stupid question, don't ask the question. If it slips, no big deal. Third, if you're worried or scared, get over it. Just get over it. Move on. I always say, stand in front of your fear. And then, in parentheses, I might add to that. Otherwise, you'll be consumed by your fear. And like Shakespeare says, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to endure the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. And then blah, 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 blah. Then he says, 'tis the consummation devoutly to be wished. Meaning, he just wants to understand what's better. Is it better to live or is it better to not? To just understand that. To consummate means to come together. So for that understanding to come together, that's all I want to know. That's what he says. Devoutly to be wished. All I want to know is just devoutly. I agree. And my answer to that is, it's best to not exist. It's best to not live, to tell you the truth. So if you're going to live, this is number 4 here. If you're going to live, don't be a loser. Don't be scared or worried. And don't waste my time. You know? Like, do something. That's what I say. I say, if you're not going to do anything, then just get out of my fucking way. That's what I say. So just get out of my way. Otherwise, you're putting people at risk. You know, you're in the way. We only got too many seats on the planes. We only got too many plates of food. We only have so much of our heart before we're just like, no more civilians, please. I just hate having to explain myself over and over again. Or I'm going to start off by saying, you're done. And then I end it by saying, but you are perfect. So, you know, between dumb and perfection is where we get Barbies from. And I always look at my Barbie girls and I say, yeah, how much can you drink? And they say, I can drink a lot. So I talked to one of my Barbie girls today. She gave me $10. That's the first thing I said. I was like, what are you doing outside? And she says, what does it look like? I'm just like so sad. And I said, alright. Give me $10. And she was like, alright, I'll give you $10. She gave me $10. She was happy automatically. She was like, can I walk with you? I was like, yeah, walk with me, I'll make you happy. We walked, she was happy, and on her way. That's pretty much what our jobs also include, is that people give us money to make them happy. That's it, because unless you are giving us money, there's no reason for you to even approach us, to even talk to us, to even look at us. In fact, don't. She was sitting there sobbing. I'd walk up to her, I'd say, what are you doing outside? And that's a big part of it. As I'm sitting there doing my, instructed training, and I'm being harassed by these street people, so that's why I had to be there, so that they would go away. And they did go away, but then I had these other people, this grown father come over and start calling me names, and then his son was calling me names. So I was sitting there seething, and then I couldn't sleep. So I was like, oh great, now my whole, and I was in sound, happy sleep, and then I was awoken by these name calls. Just because they were from another country, just because they don't like the fact that we have standards. So, and just because we don't appreciate people being violating what we started our program for to begin with their children, even if they're from another country. Anyway, it was a whole thing. So I got up is what I did. So I was mad. And I'm walking, and that's really when I ran into this Barbie girl. And that's why they wanted me to do this vlog, because they wanted me to explain myself, why I robbed this girl. And I didn't rob her. In fact, I just asked her for money. But I really shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been there either. And those Filipinos shouldn't have been there either. And those street people shouldn't have been there either. Basically, this whole operation shouldn't even exist. So I don't think it really does exist. The only thing that exists right now is that I'm hitting to my installment for today. So because once we clock out, nothing exists. Think about it. Once we clock in, then we're on the record. So they wanted me to just make sure that everything's on the record for a while longer. I don't want to get in trouble for what I heard before I got up and after I heard the name call. I definitely appreciate that too. that's the thing, you know, you travel around the world, you never really know where you are. You travel the U.S., you should know by now what the U.S. is. And that we don't appreciate name calling. Especially, it just doesn't make any sense why we would do that to me, or anybody who's like me. Because the U.S. specializes in pretty much one thing, and one thing only. And it's basically Kellogg's. So, I made another video if you want to check that out about Kellogg's. That's what we're known for, as our Kellogg's. We're known so well for it that a lot of other things are dependent upon our Kellogg's. Barbie girls included. So, you know, someone's walking down the street or they're sitting there, you know, it's not that they're getting robbed or it's not that they're getting bothered, but it's that, you know, we want everybody to even be worthy of walking down those streets, you know, to have the common sense to even, for anything. And the other thing is, I actually knew this person. I went to high school with her, so it's not really good. But I was like, I don't know, I know your face. She told me her name, and I was like, oh yeah. That's good. And then she was like, I love you. And I was like, she's like, can I move in with you? And I was like, and she was like, are you homeless? And I'm like, look, it's complicated right now. But I was like, me too. And then I went on my way, got food, and then she went on her way and got more drunk. And that's basically how life should be. You know, we're doing our jobs. The girls are getting drunk, living their lives. And then when those babies pop out, they're like me. Super sober when we're drinking. Yeah, super sober. So, you know, if you're not American and you date an American, it's, you know, it's a privilege. It's definitely a privilege. And sometimes we like to, you know, the whole world is the whole world. You know, we like to curate our genetics. And the military does, we're ahead of that. You know, if you want to say, oh, you want more Kellogg's. That's basically what anybody asks the military. Says, what do you want? They say Kellogg's. Give us Kellogg's. 'Cause we know what to do with Kellogg's, but we don't know what to do with losers. That's why my recruiter was like, I don't know what to do. I'm doing Cinnabons. You're out there breaking everything. Seems to me like we have it together and all over the place. And I said, yeah, that's like my boss. You know, but he's a genius about it, and I'm, you know, methodical. He's methodical. I'm methodical. I'm random. I'm by chance. I think he's more methodical than I am. But anyway, I ride on my genetics because when you dip into another country, you get all sorts of treasures. And that's what America has to do sometimes. What this program is about is to get as many employees and as many people in our program, just so that we can take care of a bunch of problems, such as employment, education, and social security. We're here at a break. Not too often we get mini breaks. Yeah, I would usually like us to hold everything in, but that's why they gave me this grunt work. So they're like, all right, we're all paid to not talk. You haven't signed anything yet. I signed an NDA, but I haven't signed their NDA. 2 different NDAs, 2 different agencies. So, you know. Because the best thing is to tell everybody everything before you go in. That way you're covered. Because you can't say anything once you're in there. Because I mean, it's better not to enroll in our program, to be honest with you, because you're probably not good enough. But if you think you're good enough, don't enroll, because you can do something different. Basically, we like to have everything. So if you join our program, then we may just take everything, your business, and that's about it. Yeah. That's why I joined, because I was like, well, wait a minute, if they're going to take my business, then that's good, because there's only one business that you really don't want to take, but that if someone takes your business, then automatically it's the best thing ever. So that's pretty much what Kellogg's is. If they take your business and you're Kellogg's, then they have no choice but to also be Kellogg's. So everybody else, they have something to lose. You really want to join our program if you want to get to the point so that you don't have to lose anything anymore. And you can just do what we tell you to do. And again, this is post 2020, so we have social securities, because you should not have to worry about who's next to you or who's behind you, or nobody should be touching you. So 6 feet of our program is basically why they asked me to do everything, because leadership has a difference of opinions. Doesn't matter if you have a difference of opinions. I said, don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Unless you're gonna pay me. In that case, consent. That sort of thing.